very good Wednesday to you in Southern California. I am Jim Rome. I am live in the O'Reilly Auto Parts studios. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Nice to have you here. Big show. We are loaded today. So let me lay it out for you. I've got 3 excellent interviews. I've got a lot of ground I want to cover. I want to go in a number of different directions. I want to talk some NFL, some NBA, some college football, athletes on Twitter, baseball, and more. Let's get at it. 1-800-636-8686. You might have heard yesterday's show. Things got a little tense. Folks were fired up. They were getting angry. They were getting emotional. If you want to weigh in on any of that, I'm talking about Michael Sam, Tony Dungy. Sam actually responded to Dungy, and I thought did so masterfully, which I will get to momentarily. What I'm saying is, coming off yesterday's show, normally, I was getting a lot of calls from people saying I would normally never call, but if you're one of those folks and you want to weigh in, now would be a good time to do so. 1-800-636-8686. If you don't want to call, but you want to participate, you can follow me on Twitter at Jim Rome, or you can email us at Rome, R-O-M-E, at haveatape.com. Right, here's what I'm looking at. In addition to the things I want to cover, I've got an interview with Chandler Parsons later on this hour. Dallas Maverick Chandler Parsons. Second hour is open. Third hour, we have L.A. Laker Nick Young. Also in hour number 3, we have the reigning National League MVP, Andrew McCutchen. So those 3 interviews, and a lot to get done. Once again, 1-800-636-8686. We talked yesterday about Tony Dungy saying that he would not have selected Michael Sam. He thought he was a distraction because things would happen. So, Sam reports to camp, and I'd like to report that the only distraction for the Rams was Dungy saying that he would be a distraction. I take you back to yesterday. We kicked this topic around on this program for nearly the entire 3 hours, and it riled folks up on both sides of the issue. You had some people applauding Dungy for using his voice. Others were saying it's just his view. Some insisted, homosexuality is a choice. Others defended Sam. Some trolled just because they wanted to insult him. All of that together, and I think the very best response, by far, came from Michael Sam himself.
One more thing off the top, we just got to ask you, Tony Dungy's comments, I don't know if you saw him or heard him. What did you make of that when you saw it or heard it?
Thank God he wasn't St. Louis Rams coach. but I have a great respect for Coach Dungy, and like everyone in America, everyone has entitled their own opinion.
And I've got a lot of respect for Sam, because that's how you handle that. He handled that perfectly. Instead of firing back, he came with a nice little crack, and then he said he respected Tony Dungy. He didn't get up on a soapbox. He didn't start preaching about his cause, time and place, because his cause right now is trying to find a spot on the kickoff coverage squad so he does not become the first openly gay player to get cut by a team. That's where his focus is. Had he fired back at Dungy and started to list the Mike Vicks and Tim Tebow's and the other major distractions that Dungy has endorsed, then this thing goes nuclear. And then Rams camp is about a 7th rounder and not the 70 other guys. Michael Sam knows that. It's not what he's about. Right now, he's not trying to be a crusader. He's trying to be a pass rusher. He's about tackles, not distractions. Every rook has a welcome to the NFL moment. Mike Sams was facing a dozen microphones on day 1, and he nailed it. Sam is not the distraction. Dungy is. And Sam just did his very best to defuse it. Could not have handled that any better than he did. 1-800-636-8686. Notice he didn't jump in there with a gas can and say, yeah, that's it. That's the very thing I'm working against. That's the type of ignorance I'm trying to eradicate. And what he said was, hey, it's a good thing that guy doesn't coach the Rams. And by the way, I respect him a lot, and everybody is entitled to their opinion. Found that perfectly. Let me move on to some other football. Now, you tell me which of these things is not like the other. Vince Lombardi, Babe Ruth, Michael Jordan, Richard Sherman. Which of those things is not like the other? Now, if you ask Seahawk fans, they're all exactly the same. They all belong in the same category. They're all legends who have statues. And apparently a couple of dorks repping the 12th man are trying to raise $250,000 for a Richard Sherman statue that will display the Sherm tipping up the title game pass intended for Mike Crabtree. You're kidding, right? You're going to immortalize a 26-year-old guy for throwing up his hand at just the right time. I mean, why stop there? Why not just regloss that joint Sherman Stadium while you're at it? Instead of raising $250,000 for the statue, why don't you raise $20 million and get naming rights to the stadium? Look, I get it, but understand this. It was a nice play in a big moment. It was a clutch deflection. It was not the immaculate reception. And it was far from the biggest reason you won that game. If anything, you should be trying to collect money for a Cam Chancellor statue or a bad beast mode statue that you can rope off like Marshawn does his Lambo. If you have to go Sherman, I don't want to see him making one play during the game. I want to see him in bronze going legend after the game.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to shut it for you real quick. LOB.
All right, and Joe, back over to you.
All right, and before out. You know what they should do? They should build a statue, that statue of him, and there should be a little red button underneath it. So when folks come up to visit and pay homage to the statue, they pop that button, and that starts up.
I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Over and again.
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best.
That'd be the best. I tell you what, if you really want to build a statue that honors that Super Bowl run, you would make it of Peyton. He's the one that hung that banner for you. Just find some Seattle sculptor to chisel out Big Pate scrambling around for a fumble on the very first play. Listen, I know that he is the alleged best corner in the game, but giving Sherm a statue at this point is completely lame. Pretty premature, don't you think? Maybe if he were to die suddenly, tragically, maybe, possibly, still doubtful. Hey, look, maybe in 10 years he gets a statue. Maybe he has moment after moment after moment. They go on and they rip off 2 and 3 rings. But you don't give a guy a statue when he's 26, coming off one Super Bowl win where he made one play. And there were a lot of other guys on that team that made a lot of plays too. 1-800-636-8686. This email reads, Van Smack, here's an idea for today's show. Don't take any callers from Houston or Albuquerque. Those 2 callers yesterday ruined the show for all of us. Who the hell can compare Down syndrome with sexual orientation? Just freaking ridiculous. Get LT ready to smoke some fools today. Southside Mike in Chicago. Hey, listen, it may have been the worst take I've ever heard on this show, but I'm glad that guy got on. And by the way, this is the way some people think. This is the way some people see the world. This is the way some people see homosexuals.
When you look at gay people, when you look at homosexuality, these people, you know, they're different from everybody else. That's just the way it is. Almost similar to somebody that has a disease or a syndrome. And I want to kind of compare it to, you know, like Down syndrome, except the difference is that somebody with Down syndrome, they can't pretend to be normal. That's the way they are. When you have somebody that's gay or homosexual, they can pretend to be straight. They can pretend, they can choose to be straight. Somebody that's African American, they can't choose or pretend to be white. That's just the way that they are. so as far as him having a choice, I believe he does have a choice. And I don't think it's fair to people that do have Down syndrome or that do have a disease that they are, in fact, born with, because they don't have a choice. They can't pretend and shake it off like nothing's wrong.
You know, when I heard that, I thought that was probably the worst take I'd ever heard on the show. And now that I listened back to it today, honestly, it's worse than it was yesterday. I've taken thousands of calls over the years. I've taken thousands of bad calls. That's right up near the top. July 22nd, 2014. And even more troubling than that phone call is, I guarantee there's a fat number of people listening right now saying, you know what, he's right, Rome. Why didn't you rack that call, Rome? Instead of running that call and holding that up to public ridicule, why didn't you rack that call, Rome? Why didn't you put that guy in the smack off, Rome? Because that guy's right. I guarantee there is a certain percentage of the audience that is thinking that right now. That guy's wrong. Normally I would say there are no wrong takes, just different takes, and we don't all agree. I'm going to say that's wrong. It's just wrong. Hey, Rome, let's give Donald Sterling some credit. His 59 lawsuits seem credible to us. Signed the mouse in the McNugget and the finger in the chili. Signed Kevin in Rip City. War Sterling suing me for this email. Bring it, old man. I will get to that. He might. He might sue you for that, and he might sue me for what I'm about to say. There are two kinds of people on Twitter. The ignorant ones who are not following Joel Embiid, and the enlightened who are. I want to talk about Points Guy today. Points Guy. Not necessarily the points that you think I'm going to talk about, but Points Guy. I will leave it at that. And I'll get to it later on. I've got a way to fix golf. Golf is kind of long. It's kind of boring. I've got a way to fix it. And I'll hit that a little bit later on. Sammy Watkins just tearing it up in Bills camp. Bills fans are fired up. I've got thoughts on him. Look, I know it's not even August yet, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I know they've only been there a few days, but Sammy Watkins is just awesome. Just awesome. Now I know why they took that big swing. I mean, I knew it before now, but when you see what this guy's doing already and the excitement that he's creating, now I see why they made that move to get him. I mean, already you're getting reports that he's already the best player on the field. The guy is awesome. Further thoughts on that later on. Dear Jimmy, Seahawk fans are like the fans from all markets that have had a little success. They run their mouths even when they have no titles, and when they finally get one, or get a sniff of one, they go off the chains. Tell those Seahawk fans to take that Sherman statue and shove it. Steve Vancouver. Yeah, I'll say this for Seattle. I'll say it for the Seahawk organization. I don't think they're a flash in the pan. I don't think they're necessarily one and done. I like the way they built that thing. In fact, I think it's brilliant. I think the model is brilliant. I think they've got the right coach. They've got the right GM. They've got the right guys calling the shots. I love what they've done. I love what Pete Carroll has created there. So I think they're going to be here to stay. But their fans might be a little bit off the chains. If they're trying to raise money to build a statue for Richard Sherman already, that's over the top. Give it a little bit of time. What do you say? Maybe you go back to back before you start erecting statues? Maybe get a second ring? Tommy from NC tweeting at Jim Rome. Make it stop. I feel dumber having to listen to that guy again. Hey, you want to feel dumb? You feel dumb having to hear that? You should sit in our chairs and read everything that we read that does not make it on the air. You want to talk about reversing the IQ? I lose 5 IQ points for every hour I sit here and I read some of these things that can never get on the air. Nova in the 228 at Jim Rome. Hearing that call for a second time was somehow worse than the first. The single most ignorant caller of all time. I would tend to agree. It was worse the second time. I thought it was bad yesterday. It was worse today. All right, Chandler Parsons coming up later on this hour. Nick Young next hour. Or I should say in hour number 3. Also Andrew McCutchen then too. Most Americans do not have a will. Why is that? I'll tell you why. They don't want the court, or you don't want the court dictating what happens to your property and minor children, right? So why are you procrastinating? Most people will say that it's too expensive, it's too time-consuming. My answer to both those things, LegalZoom.com. Too expensive? LegalZoom prices just make sense. Too time-consuming? It takes maybe 20 minutes, and LegalZoom will guide you through the entire process, start to finish. The service was developed by some of the best legal minds in the country, and they make it painless for you to get the legal help that you need. In fact, helping people get legally protected has been their mission and their passion for 13 years now. During National Make-A-Will Month, get special pricing on wills and living trusts by entering my code name Rome in the referral box at checkout. It is National Make-A-Will Month. Do not wait any longer. Now is the time to do this. Protect your family, protect your future at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom was developed by top attorneys to provide self-help services in your specific direction. They are not a law firm. Legal help is furnished through vetted independent attorneys. LegalZoom. Ed in Santa Paula tweets, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar thinks Richard Sherman getting a statue is ridiculous. And the difference is Sherman's not the one jumping up and down saying, give me a statue. Give me a statue. Kareem was. Kareem was the one saying, where's mine? How come I don't have a statue? Irv has one. No, it's not Sherman's idea. It's some Seahawk fans. Scotty in Dallas said, Jim Rome, a statue of Richard Sherman? How about getting a life and raising money for something real, losers? Signed, Detroit's RoboCop statue. Yeah, I'm not blaming Sherman. It's not his idea.
Or there will be trouble.
I am blaming the guys trying to raise money, though, to get him a statue. It's one ring. He's great. The LOB is great. It was a nice win. It was a dominant performance. Guys don't get statues based on one Super Bowl ring. If that were the case, there'd be statues everywhere. There'd be statues outside of virtually every single stadium. I mean, why don't you start building statues for conference title games? Why not just give a guy a statue if he makes a play in a wild card game? Should Jacoby Jones get a statue for the Ravens for returning a kick? Tracy Porter for the Saints, pick 6? Why does he not have a statue? And why don't we just make a statue for everybody who's ever played a single snap in the NFL? Every player who's played for every team in the history of the NFL. In fact, instead of having people come to games, just stick statues in the seats at every stadium. This email reads, there's a lot of backlash to the Seahawk Nation. This email reads, I hate Seahawk fans. I have for years. They take so much pride in their stupid 12th man name. When anybody who's paying attention knows they completely stole it from Texas A&M. Now that they've won a Super Bowl, they're like the idiots who win the lottery and start spending their new money in obnoxious ways. That Sherman statue might as well be a 30-foot Victorian fountain in their driveway. Can't wait till they're broke in 2 years.
Can't wait.
You see, that's my point. I understand the backlash. I know why they rub you the wrong way. I can see that. They're not going to be broke in 2 years, though. They've got a good plan, a strong foundation. There's a reason why they got there as quickly as they did. So I don't think that franchise is going anywhere. But the question is, what if they repeat? And they sure as hell could. What if they repeat? If they're looking to build statues for Richard Sherman after one win, what will they look for if they win? First of all, the entire LOB's got to get a statue. Pete Carroll's got to get a statue. I mean, Carroll's the guy that went in there and set that culture up. Carroll is the guy that went in there and built that thing quickly. And if he gets one, the GM gets one. The GM, the coach, the LOB. Hell, they ought to put up 47 statues. Let's be real. Got thoughts on Donald Sterling, which I will get to momentarily. Let's go to Vancouver. Get a phone call in here. Jason in Vancouver. Jason, good to have you. How are you?
Hey, thanks here for the Vine. I appreciate it, man.
You got it.
Hey, listen, Jim. Forgive me I'm just turning on to the radio to all the Tony Dungy. I haven't had the radio on in a couple of days. But the one thing that kind of puzzles me about this whole thing, and people are saying, well, maybe that's his background, his Bible, his faith, all that stuff. Look, that's fine. That's cool. I'm never going to knock a guy for his belief system or his core belief or whatever. But at the end of the day, that what's refreshing is Michael Sam's response today. There's a lot of humility in that, Romy. But the thing that I'm puzzled about in terms of Dungy, this is a guy that is just put on the pedestal by NBC, NFL, football, all the fans. Oh, he's the greatest, all that stuff. There's no humility where he comes from with what he said. Look, I get what he said, but there's still no humility there whatsoever. He's entitled to his belief. I don't agree with it. But at the end of the day there, Romy, there is none whatsoever. Look, you can have your faith, you can have the belief in that. But where is the humility in that? Well, why even say what he said? It's not even necessary. And now we're talking about this for 2-3 days, whatever. But good for Michael Sam for the way he responded. That's humility, Romy.
Right. Well, let me respond to you, Jason. Why say what he said? He feels very strongly about that. He answered the question, and, he's got his own platform. He's got his own agenda. We know what Tony Dungy stands for. I mean, no need to point out the elephant in the room. We know what he stands for. He's very devout. We know his beliefs. He's on record with his beliefs. And I would suggest that his beliefs had a whole lot to do with that take that he had, where he said, and he tried to clarify it, he tried to come off the statement to a certain extent. But what he's saying is, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't bring him in. That's a distraction. The problem I have is I don't agree with his belief. I do not agree with his belief in this regard. The problem I have with Tony Dungy, and one more point that I'd make, this is far from the only guy in the NFL that thought that way. Michael Sam did last until the 7th round. Every single team passed on him. So Dungy's not the only guy who thinks that way, but he is the only guy to come right out and say it like that. The problem I have with it, I think it's extremely hypocritical. I said it yesterday, and a lot of you got very, very upset. I said, at best, it's hypocritical. At worst, it's bigoted. You can't tell me it's not hypocritical, though. It's hypocritical because he says he wouldn't want to have Michael Sam on his team because it would be a distraction. This is the same guy that pushed hard for teams to bring in Mike Vick. What? A dog killer would not be a distraction, but a gay player would. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The same guy that stood behind Marvin Harrison when he was facing a murder rap. The same guy that brought in Keyshawn Johnson. These are all distractions. He had no problem with that. But he's got a problem with Michael Sam because, quote, he'd be a distraction. And my last point on that very, very quickly, when Tony Dungy was coming up and he wanted to break into coaching, if those making the decisions had the same take about him as an African-American that he has about Michael Sam as a openly gay player, then Dungy would not have gotten the opportunities that he was able to benefit from. To me, it's hypocritical. But he's entitled to his view. I get it. I respect it. I just don't agree with it. Chandler Parsons, when we come back. Stay tuned. Telephone number toll free. Later on, Nick Young and Andrew McCutchen. You're in the jungle, and this is CBS Sports Radio. Welcome back. Camping World, your number one source for everything you'll ever need for the RV lifestyle, brings you this segment. Stop in today or visit campingworld.com. We are joined by a forward for the Dallas Mavericks. He signed a 3-year contract with the Mavericks earlier this month, coming off a big year with Houston where he averaged better than 16.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. He is also a member of USA Basketball's roster. Chandler Parsons joins us now. Chandler, really good to have you on. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Jim?
Great, Chandler. Chandler Parsons, Dallas Maverick. How does that sound?
It definitely sounds a little bit different. It's definitely exciting, and I'm excited for that opportunity, and I think Dallas has a great thing going. They're a great organization with an unbelievable fan base. So I look forward to getting there and getting to camp and get going.
Chandler Parsons joining us. You were a restricted free agent, so when Dallas signed you to that 3-year offer sheet, deep down, did you still expect to be a Houston Rocket next season?
Yeah, I did. And, the Rockets and Daryl and Tad and Gerson, those guys told me before this even happened, look, being a restricted free agent is tough, difficult. You're going to hear some things that you don't necessarily like. It's very tough. It's not the same as being unrestricted. A lot of teams, aren't going to try and waste their time on you when they think your current team is going to match. So it's kind of a messy situation. So then when I did sign the contract with Dallas, in the back of my head, I thought that the Rockets would match, but, you know, Cuban, Mark did a great job putting together a contract that pretty much made it impossible to be able to trade me or, for them to match if they did match.
Hey, Chandler, in fact, when you talk about Mark Cuban, we were talking about a hell of a businessman. He can be extremely persuasive. Kind of let us in. What was his pitch like to you?
He's unbelievable, and I think he's the best owner in sports. And just knowing that the Mavericks won't be bad for as long as he owns the team was big for me. And as a person, he's great. He's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met in my life, and just very successful. But he basically told me and showed me how I would fit in the Maverick style, how I'm a priority for them, and they view me as a franchise player and think I can do big things there. He believes in me, and Donnie Nelson and Rick Carlisle, they all got on the phone with me and really just made it clear to me that I can have success in Dallas. And at this point in my career, I'm ready for a bigger role. I'm ready to take that next step, and I think playing for the Mavs is the perfect situation for that.
We were talking to Chandler Parsons. You know, it's interesting, Chandler. You said they see you as a franchise player. You and I in the past have talked about whether or not the Rockets considered you the third piece in their big three. I mean, these guys see you as a franchise player. Do you feel like Houston undervalued your contributions to the team?
I don't think so. You know, I think I had nothing but great memories, and the last 3 years there have been unbelievable. And, Daryl did me a real solid by even letting me out a year early, and I get why he did that, to not let me hit the unrestricted market the year before. And it's worked out that he couldn't match this time. But, do I think I'm obviously capable of being a third star? Yes. At the end of the day, it is a business, and they have to do what's best for their team going forward. And if they did match me, that wouldn't have given them any flexibility moving forward. So I don't have any hard feelings towards them, but I do think I am that player, and I do think I'm ready for that role.
You know, there's a sense in free agency that everybody's waiting to see what LeBron did and then what Carmelo did to see the dominoes fall, but that's not what the Mavericks did. They came after you hard, and they did not wait for Melo and Bosh, for instance, to make their decisions. How much did that mean to you?
That meant a lot because, pretty much every team wanted me to wait around, and I knew I was going to get a lot of interest once, Melo or LeBron had finally decided, and I knew that's when the interests were coming in heavy. But, Dallas wasted no time. They made it clear to me that I was a priority, and they wanted me, and I was their guy. That hit home with me, and I want to be somewhere where I'm a priority, and I want to be wanted, and it just made sense. And I really respected and appreciated the fact that they came to me first and didn't ask me to wait for any of these other superstars.
Chandler, when you and I spoke when the team was trying to bring in Dwight Howard, Houston, and you made it a priority. I mean, you made an effort to help bring him in, help recruit him, let him know what a great situation that was. And then when you leave, Howard says, quote, "It won't affect us at all." Considering the time and effort that you put in to help recruit him, how'd that make you feel when you heard that?
Sometimes the media can spin some comments, and I obviously wasn't there for that interview. And, knowing him, I know he didn't mean it. But, he's one of my closest friends, and he's got to stick up for his current team, and he's got to be confident with the Rockets now moving forward, and with or without me there. So I understand where he's coming from. I think it's a ridiculous statement, but at the end of the day, he has to stick up for the Rockets, and I don't think he meant it in a bad way and didn't try and bash me at all. But it is what it is.
We were talking to Chandler Parsons. You put the time in. You were a second-round draft pick. You busted your ass. You became a big-time player in the NBA. You're getting recognized and paid like a big-time player in the NBA. So now that you're here, what's the approach? I mean, is there a party that feels like, all right, it's time to prove myself all over again? Or how will you approach it going forward?
Yeah, now it's time to even pick it up another year. All my life I've always been doubted. People always told me, he can't get a scholarship. No way he plays at Florida. He can't be Conference Player of the Year. There's no way he plays in the NBA. And it's just continued to do that path. And, no way he gets drafted. And now here I am today. So I thrive, and I stay motivated off people doubting me. And now we're in the situation where we are today, where I've got this big contract, and I got to go out there and prove, my value and my worth, and I plan on doing that every single day and doing whatever it takes for the Mavericks to win games. No way he leads the Gators past the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos in the NCAA tournament. I actually never heard that. I never heard that. That's the one rap you never heard. Chandler Parsons joining us. Dirk Nowitzki's a guy that you looked up to growing up. Have you thought about what it's going to be like being on the floor with Dirk
And how do you think the two of you will play together and work together?
Yeah, man, it's a dream. It's crazy. I still got to pinch myself every now and then just to play against and now be able to play with these guys. And Kirk's one of my all-time favorites. He's one of the all-time best. He's incredible, and just getting to know him the last 3 years has been real special. And I really look forward just to getting on the court with him. And as a 1-2 punch, I think we can be very good, especially in pick and roll. And I think we'll just feed off each other. And like, I'm gonna be a sponge, and I'm just gonna take in everything he says, and I'm gonna learn from him. And however much time he has left, I'll be right next to him, asking questions, trying to get anything I can to make myself better.
He has time left, one thing at a time. But as he gets older, I mean, can you see a scenario where one day he'll retire and then you become the guy in Dallas that maybe he hands the baton to you?
Well, those are big shoes to fill. Obviously, he's one of the best ever, and so it's even flattering to be in the same sentence as him. But that's the goal, and I hope he plays for a lot more time. But when it is said and done, I think I'll be ready to fill in the shoes.
Before you go, Chandler, I saw you tweeting at Christina Perry earlier this summer. Quote, I was wondering if it's possible to miss someone you've never met. I mean, what a smooth line. Asking for a friend. Did you get a response? Or, check that, did your friend get a response to that?
Yeah, my friend hung out with her. I'm actually out in L.A. right now. So who would have known social media would have been such a good wingman?
It's the ultimate winger, social media. How about the summer? What else have you done this summer besides sign a fat contract, have your friend hang out with her? You get into anything else this summer?
Yeah, after the playoffs, that shot and that series still hasn't sitting well with me, and took some time off, spent a lot of time with my family, been back and forth from L.A. and Orlando, took a few trips, and now I'm out here working out with Rob McClanahan on the court and Gunnar Peterson for weights, just getting ready for a USA camp in Vegas Sunday.
Chandler Parsons, Dallas Maverick. Chandler, appreciate you. Great to have you back on. Thanks so much. Good to be on, Jim. Out. I don't know what happened. Chandler Parsons, 1-800-636-8686. I'm telling you, man, I hope that Twitter question didn't just piss him off like that. Twitter's weird like that. Twitter's a weird deal. When it's good, it's great. When it's not, it's not. Anyway, my thanks to him. Nick Young coming up in hour number 3, the reigning NL MVP, and I think he's making a late run again. Andrew McCutchen also coming up in the third hour. We'll break. Phone lines are wide open. You either grab one of my topics or just bring something in that you want to talk about yourself. Does not matter to me. Just come strong. You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. Not to wait. He knew he wanted him. Was not going to wait to see how the dominoes fell. Didn't wait to see about Bosch, where Carmelo went hard, got his guy. Houston did not match. That Chandler Parsons took the high road. Certainly was not going to take any shots. You've got to believe that stung. Nothing about Dwight Howard. I thought that he handled that pretty well. I expect him to say that. He's going to stand up for his team. He's going to say we're going to be fine. What do you expect the guy to say? Yeah, well, that's kind of a tough blow there. Although Kevin McHale did say, yeah, I pretty much support what we're doing this offseason. Pretty much. Except, remember, Chandler Parsons was the guy saying, hey, Dwight, you got to come here. Dwight, we want you. We need you. You'll love it here. And then the second Parsons leaves, Dwight's like, we're not going to miss him at all. But he did say, I think it's a ridiculous statement, but we are friends, and I know why he's standing up for his team. Statue talk is also dominating the first hour. And so is Seahawk hate. Rome, I have hated Seahawk fans for their entire existence. So you know, since about 2012. These honks clamoring for the Sherman statue probably wouldn't be able to tell you the name on the back of a throwback number 10 jersey. As far as they're concerned, Beast Mode leads the franchise in rushing yards. The name Ricky Waters means nothing. Kurt Warner was only ever a quarterback that beat their team down twice a year. Pat in Buffalo, where's Sammy Watkins being in the top 10 this year in receiving yards? If B.J. Emanuel can get it to him. In fact, it's not that hard. Just throw it in his general direction. He reminds me a lot of a guy, the guy you just throw the ball to him and he catches it. He's like that. Jason Avant.
Jason Avant, he is the man.
I see a lot of Jason Avant in Sammy Watkins. He's the man. He's got great hands. And before you laugh at that, that's the highest praise I can give any wide receiver. He reminds me of Jason Avant. Sammy Watkins is a fine man. I like him a lot. Craig in Tampa at Jim Rome. Rome, if you've won a ring and you make 9 figures, you are in a special class worthy of a statue. Like Joe Flacco. Signed, Joe Flacco. Mike Wass at Jim Rome. I have been waiting for my statue outside of Philly for 10 years now. Signed, Freddie Mitchell. Hashtag 4th and 26. The people's champ, Fred X. Always good to hear from Fred X. I want to thank my hands for being so good. I want to acknowledge my hands. They made me what I am today. I want to thank my hands for being so good. A wide receiver thanking his hands is one of the all-timers. Fred's 15 minutes were awesome, honestly. I am the Walrus at Jim Rome. We'd like to start a campaign to get a statue of Whopper Goldberg outside the Jungle Studio. Sign the clones. Hey, Walrus, stop. You're having a big week, Walrus. That's a big, big, big step backwards, Walrus. We're coming right back. Hour number 2 is wide open. Pick it up, clones. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Studio. I am Jim Rome. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. We go into our second hour. All right, we're talking about Michael Sam and him reporting to camp. We spent all day yesterday talking about Tony Dungy and the fact that Dungy said that he would not select Sam. He's got no issue with him playing, but he wouldn't want the distraction. I thought Sam responded to it beautifully. In fact, he could have come out and said, hey, listen, this guy is misguided. This is the very thing that we're fighting against. This is why I'm here. But that's not what he said. Yeah, a little crack. And then he said how much he respected Tony Dungy. He handled it like a 10-year pro.
One more thing off the top, I just got to ask you. Tony Dungy's comments, I don't know if you saw him or heard him. What did you make of that when you saw it or heard it?
Thank God he wasn't St. Louis Rams coach. But I have a great respect for Coach Dungy, and like everyone in America, everyone has entitled their own opinion.
Bam. Preloaded or not, very smart. Sam was not a distraction until Tony Dungy said that he'd be a distraction. And then Sam diffused it. And then it stopped being a distraction. Well done. The other thing we've been hitting on, and it just reminds me of this, and you tend to forget about it. I've got a lot of respect for the Seahawks and the way they do things, how quickly it's come together, and I think that they're here to stay. Except I tend to forget just how much other NFL fans hate their fans. And I'm reminded of that fact when I have this story about a couple of fans representing the 12th man who are trying to raise money to erect a statue for Richard Sherman. And then here come the emails. It's not even about the Seahawks. It's not even about Richard Sherman. It's about their fans. There's a lot of anti-Seahawks sentiment around the NFL. Richard Sherman might be. I mean, he'll tell you for sure that he is the best corner in the game. He might be. He's certainly in the conversation. But the guy does not deserve a statue. Nobody does after one ring. You know, what are we talking about? The statue. Never mind the Super Bowl. They want to erect a statue based on the play that he made in the NFC title game. Not even anything he did in the Super Bowl. In other words, Seahawk fan going Seahawk fan. So that's been big as well. It wasn't even like a Tracy Porter crazy pick six. It was a deflection. It wasn't even a pick six in the title game, the conference title game. It was a deflection. So that's been big too. I want to talk about Joel Embiid. I'll do that in a minute, but I've got to get to Donald Sterling. And again, not be so heavy with it, but he continues to scorch the entire earth. Check the Donald. He's fighting his wife in court. He's riding $1 billion antitrust lawsuit. And yesterday, I guess got bored and decided he might as well file suit against the NBA as well. In other words, that makes 3. That's 3 for him.
It's 2 for me.
Hey, I just hope by the end of this segment, Biggie is not suing me. Hey, whatever it takes to keep the team, though, right, B? Well, even if he did, even if he could somehow find a way to keep that team, I'm not sure how much of that team would be left, because if the coach and the players and the sponsors all walk out, what are you left with? Clipper Darryl, Billy Crystal, and the silly rabbit. Why do I say that? Because interim Clippers CEO Dick Parsons testified yesterday that Doc Rivers has told him on multiple occasions that if the Bigatron is still with the team next year, then Doc will not be. Parsons said, quote, "If none of your sponsors are in, and the coach doesn't want to coach, and the players don't want to play, what have you got?" End of quote. What you have is an owner who still wants to hone, and an old lawyer who still loves to sue, even if it means destroying the team that he's trying to hold on to. Biggie, what do you not understand about this? It's right there. Doc Rivers, an extremely critical component of that team, does not want to be there if you're still there. And if Doc doesn't want to be there, I guarantee a number of his players don't want to be there. And if you're still there, the sponsors don't want to be there. What I'm saying, Biggie, is other than you and your attorney, there's nobody who wants you there. Nobody is saying to you, stay and fight, stay and fight. You're getting jammed. We love you. Nobody. There is no Team Donald. You're on an island. So you should take your $2 billion, go buy another island, and burn the boats. There is no Team Bigatron. There's no hashtag Team Bigatron. It does not exist. Even Aaron Hernandez had people cheering for him at the courtroom. Nobody is outside the courtroom chanting, Bigatron, Bigatron, Bigatron. There is no Team Donald. A-Rod even had supporters. Of course, he did pay them to picket on his behalf, but at least he had people who had his back. Good one, right, Alex? Hey, Alex, remember when you paid people to show up on the street and pretend that they had your back? That's pretty funny, right? Hey, do you like me? Actually, Alex, we hate you. Yeah, well, here's $5. How do you like me now? B's like that foreclosed homeowner where they're trying to drag him off the property, and he's running around pouring concrete down the toilets for the new owners before they have to physically remove him by the cops. Listen, this is not the Clippers turning their shoot-around shirts inside out. This might be a case of the Doc piecing out. And who knows who he takes with him. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say those players will not play, those players will boycott. You know, players play. They want to get paid. They'll be there. But it's a bad deal. Why do you want to stay where nobody wants you? I guess you could try and argue that it's about principle, but again, why do you want to stay where nobody wants you? Not the coach, not the players, not the sponsors. Last I checked, in order to be successful as a pro sports owner, you need players, you need coaches or managers, and you need sponsors. You have none of the above. Biggie. Doc Rivers. Yeah, I mean, how long would it take him to find another job? A second? 2 seconds? The Lakers probably have already hired him and we don't know it. For the last time, Don, drop your gloves. Call off your dogs. Sell your team. Save a little face. Save a little face by reconstructing yours even further. That's something else, Don. $2 billion will buy you a lot of work. Seriously, $2 billion? Throw a little money at it? You'll look like Bieber by the time you're done. And there'll still be money left over for the rabbit and anything else. Take your bill, buy an island, so you end your days in the sand and not on the stand. And don't sue me, thank me. I'm here to help. As you might imagine, Shelley's attorney says the longer this cat stays and fights and is around, the worse it's going to get.
And the longer that Donald Sterling is there, the longer that he's suing everybody, and the longer that he seeks to hold on to the team, the value of our beloved Clippers will plummet. It will drop like a rock.
Of course. Right? The thing about Don, the problem with Don is he is likes to fight guy. He is likes to fight guy because he likes to sue guy. And I guarantee when he hears this, it's fuel. Nightmare fuel for the rest of us, but fuel for him. Bring it on. Bring it on. See you in court. Likes to fight guy. Go away, Don. Nobody wants you. There is no such thing as Team Don. Back to the phones. We go this time to Humboldt. Let's keep it here in Cali. Art in Humboldt. Hey, Art, what's up?
Hey, Jim. How you doing today?
I'm great, Art. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
I want to weigh in on a couple of things. Number one, Raiders, get off our porch, man. You got to be kidding that you might be being introduced to our new stadium. It's a commitment to excellence on our part, not a commitment to mediocrity. You guys what a terrible idea to put Raiders in a Niner stadium. The violence that would happen there, as well as the disaster of watching our brand new stadium get polluted with losing, would be terrible. On the other hand, I'm out.
My man.
That's not a good call. No. You don't like that call. I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to do something that I rarely ever do. Let's go ahead and rack a guy that just ejected. Now, you can see it coming, right? I've seen bigger train wrecks. I thought that he got off to a solid enough start, but you could see whereby he might have script issues. He was having throat issues, lozenge issues, and it kind of got away from him. He felt that he was fighting a losing battle, and he pulled the ripcord. Expertly done. So I ran him. Actually, I didn't run him. He ran himself, but I'm going to rack him. I thought that was extremely well played. Very tactical. Very strategic on his part. I'm not going to wait for Rome to bring the hammer because I know it's coming. I'm just going to pull the ripcord, and I will land safely on the ground after my parachute deploys. The naive move is, I'll pull out of this. I am not going to slam into the side of the mountain. I will pull out of this. I'll be fine. I can save it. No, you won't. And he knew he wouldn't. That was great. I'm really proud of him. That was well done.
It's a commitment to excellence on our part, not a commitment to mediocrity. You guys what a terrible idea to put Raiders in a Niner stadium. The violence that would happen there, as well as the disaster of watching our brand new stadium get polluted with losing, would be terrible. On the other hand, I'm out.
Goodbye, Trapper. Goodbye, Trapper. The last throat clear killed him. That was even worse than the commitment to mediocrity. But I think we all thought that he was going to go commitment to excrement, which is really usually the lowest common denominator. What I take from that is, number one, good play, strategic, tactical, and number two, Niner fan does not want Raider fan or Raider team anywhere near their beautiful, shiny new crib. And again, it's one thing. If you go into it knowing that you're going to share a facility with somebody, that's one thing. But that's not the way they went into it, because I see nothing but red in that facility. Lots of red seats. How can you share that facility? Niner fan wants no part of it. Okay, anybody else? You know what? I kind of like taking phone calls, because a lot of you share the same opinion. The worse they are, the better it is for the show. And over the last day and a half, we've had some pretty horrific phone calls.
Commitment to mediocrity.
That's what we're committed to right here. You got to stand for something, right? You have to stand for something. You've got to be committed. We are committed to mediocrity.
Commitment to mediocrity. Commitment to mediocrity.
Commitment to mediocrity. Commitment to mediocrity. Again, it's not easy to call. Good job, man. Good job. Way to pull that ripcord. I love that. I love that move. I love that move. Sometimes you have to tap, right? Better than getting choked out. Tap. Own it. Live to fight another day. Everybody loses. You can't win every single fight. As I go to break, let me just say this. That's why you do not need to be afraid of calling this show. it may not go the way you think it's going to go. You might be in water that's deeper than you thought. You might be drifting offshore and not sure how to get back. It's okay. Just say, I'm out, and gently put the phone down.
I'm out.
Punt the ball. You can't convert on 4th and 94. Play the field position game. It's all about real estate, territory. Play the field position game. You're not converting on 4th and 93. Punt. I love it. I'm so glad that guy made that call. You see, you can do the same thing. Stay tuned. We'll try it again. Joel Embiid is my next topic. That's coming up next. When you are the top dog in your industry, you see all the best deals. First, plain and simple. That's why some of the leading floor manufacturers in the entire world come to Lumber Liquidators before anyone else, because Lumber Liquidators is the undisputed king of flooring. Well, they just acquired truckloads of amazing deals from brands like Armstrong, and they're now passing the savings along to you this week only. How about clearance flooring for just 29 cents a square foot? I mean, we're talking about a little more than a shiny new quarter per square foot. Or solid 3/4 inch pre-finished gunstock oak for $1.89 a square foot. Would you like an easy to install option? How about quick click pre-finished gunstock oak for $1.59 a square foot? These are a few of the deals going on this week at your local Lumber Liquidators, but you've got to get in there before they're gone. And be sure you ask about their special 18th-month financing, which is good on qualified purchases. To find a store near you, and these stores are popping up everywhere, go to lumberliquidators.com. Once again, lumberliquidators.com. Got some reaction now to Art in Humboldt, who just ejected in the middle of a call that was not going well for him. XT Dave at Jim Rome, quote, sounds like too much crawn for the 49ers fan in Humboldt. Niners fans are just as stabby as Raider Nation. Is that a word? Stabby? They're just as stabby? What, you mean like inclined to stab? Likely to stab? A penchant for stabbing? R. Dow 36 at Jim Rome, quote, great self-eject. Hashtag mediocrity. John the Bean Counter at Jim Rome. Humboldt, represent. Comes on strong with a Trapper-esque series of throat clears. Then the caller goes legend status by saying, on the other hand, I'm out. It's true, right? He tried to make that transition, and then he fell coming right out of the break.
Watching our brand new stadium get polluted with losing would be terrible. On the other hand, I'm out.
My man. He said
no.
They'd pollute. I did not pick up on this the first time. They'd pollute our stadium with win or losing. And then it spiraled. He was laughing. I'm out. I'm in way too deep. I'm out. No way I get this plane down. I'm out. Nate in Vegas, the throat clear, too. That was the tell. The 5th throat clear was the tell. Sounds like Trapper, doesn't it? Trapper in training. Nate in Vegas at Jim Rome. Savvy move by the caller. Signed Dennis in Oklahoma. Hashtag reaction. Dennis in Oklahoma City.
Hey, what's up, Jim? I harkened back to the days of the mighty 690. I was calling in regards to Kent and his lame flashcard reading call that he made to the show. As a former, I'm blowing up, Jim. I'm sorry, dude. Reaction. I'm out.
No. You don't like that call. I don't like that call.
That is so good.
Not a very good call.
Honestly, that was one of the great ejections of all time. That was just perfect. Not only did he just melt down uncontrollably, but he screamed reaction before he hung up. A great 690 old school reference. Alvy, I gotta hear that one more time. That was awesome. Dennis in Oklahoma City.
Hey, what's up, Jim? I harkened back to the days of the mighty 690. I was calling in regards to Kent and his lame flashcard reading call that he made to the show. As a former, I'm blowing up, Jim. I'm sorry, dude. Reaction. I'm out.
No.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm blowing up. I'm sorry, dude. Reaction. I'm out. Dennis, you should have had flashcards. And finally, Seahawk fans heard about enough. Seahawk fan is now officially in. Rome, I am a Seahawk fan. And damn proud of it. I personally love it when fans of other NFL teams write and call your show and constantly bitch about Seahawk fan and how ridiculous we are. Damn straight we're ridiculous. We're crazy. We're loud. We've caused 2 earthquakes. We paint houses in Seahawk colors. We rock blue and green body paint. We fly 12th man flags everywhere. Yeah, we ripped it from Texas A&M. We make opposing offenses jump off sides, and we come out 700,000 strong after we smash the most explosive offense in the history of the game to capture our first Super Bowl. Haters gonna hate, so keep hating, losers. It does nothing but inspire us to be better, louder, crazier fans next time your weak team comes to play in Seattle. Nick in Bellingham. Nick, if I could rack an email, I'd rack that one. Well said. Well said. You exemplify exactly what they all hate about that fan base. And you said it well. And for the record, everything he said is true. Nick in Bellingham, in Russ we trust. And I guarantee that just aggravated all of them so much more. The subject of his email is 31 losers. It's a great, great email. Man, that's who they are. That's what they represent. Back to the phones. Notice I'm taking a lot of telephone calls, and they're mostly all horrible. Let's see if we can change that right now. We go to Tucson. Robert in Tucson. Hey, Robert, what's up?
Thanks for taking the call. I say erect the statue with proceeds from Viagra, give it an Enzyte Man smile, have it sculpted by Icarus because it's going down. And make sure that if you're going to put the red button rant thing there, that side effects are included, like uncontrollable laughter and bird flipping. But what really sold me on the idea of the statue is pigeons got a crack. That's not in your car. No. You don't like that car. I don't like that car.
Mediocrity. Mediocrity. A commitment to mediocrity. He was going to go with a bird excrement blast.
Commitment to mediocrity.
Essentially, he wanted to call up and say, I'm down. I'm in favor of that. Go ahead and erect a Richard Sherman statue so the birds can crap all over it. That's where he was going with that. That was the payoff. Bird excrement. I want you to be a part of the show, callers. I really do. You have to do better than that. You do not want to be committed to, quote, mediocrity. I know there are people with good takes, well-reasoned takes, smart, glib, funny. I know you can make this show better. I'm trying to let you. Why won't you help me? I won't give up on you, although I should have a long time ago. I will not give up on you. 1-800-636-8686. Joel Embiid. This guy's an absolute revelation. I don't even care when he plays. I don't even care when he ultimately does get to the floor or how long it takes, because he is just killing it on Twitter. I want to talk about Points Guy. Points Guy. I found another guy. Points Guy. But not the points you think. Not the points you think. Not like Carmelo Anthony ball jacking at the Garden. Points Guy. We'll have that later on. In addition to that, I do want to talk about Sammy Watkins. This guy looks amazing. You seen that video of him slipping in the end zone and getting back up and catching a ball one-handed? I don't even care that it didn't happen during a game. He's just awesome. He's a freak. Did you see Patrick Kane jump into a local game with some club? Just showed up in Buffalo, skating with some guys in a rec league. Patty Kane. It went about as badly for them as you might think. Did you see Jack White at Wrigley? What a freak. How about this as I go to break? How many of you are on Tinder? Seriously, clones. I mean, if I were really, really lazy, I would say to you, anybody on Tinder? Give me a call. Let me know how that went for you. It's fascinating. I want smut peddlers to back away from Tinder. Apparently some entrepreneur is trying to sell an X-rated Tinder. Tinder that allows for nude photos. Yeah, because Tinder already in and of itself wasn't about quick, easy sex. Nah, you know, man, it's just not hot enough. It's just not explicit enough. It's just not enough that I could find somebody within, 10 minutes. It's not enough that I could find somebody within 10 feet. It's not enough that I can open up my phone and literally be having sex with a stranger within 15 minutes. That's not enough. Let's dial this thing up. Apparently some entrepreneur is trying to sell an X-rated Tinder that allows for nude pictures. Yeah, because that app wasn't nasty enough already. Dude, sorry. There's already an X-rated Tinder. It's called Tinder. You're too late. This guy's take is, the thing about it is, it's just too ambiguous. There's too much, it's cloudy. We don't really know. I mean, do you want to date or do you want to hook up? We don't know on Tinder. If we make it X-rated, it'll clear out all that nonsense. We'll know exactly what people want. Let me tell you something. If you're on Tinder at 1 o'clock in the morning, I think we pretty well know what you want. It's fine. But there's nothing ambiguous about it. Dear Jim, haiku. Crap situation. Rob in Tucson pulled the cord. Bigatron should too. 575, well done. Pattersauer from Bugahaw, war reaction. All right, stay with it. When we come back, my thoughts on Joel Embiid. I'm not sure when he'll play, but I know he's killing it on Twitter. I don't follow too many people. I've kept it well under 100, but I followed him last night, and I should have done it sooner. That story's coming up next. This is CBS Sports Radio. Nick Young coming up at the top of the hour. I am actually not sure that he's ever been on the show before. So we'll talk some swaggy P. Top of the hour. Andrew McCutchen after that. Summer temperatures are adding stress to your battery, especially one that's about to fail, so you want to get yours tested for free. At O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Take care of that. There are, in my estimation, just two types of people on Twitter. The ignorant who are not following Joel Embiid, and the enlightened who are. And not only am I on the right side of this thing, I am already pushing for Embiid to win the Rookie of the Year. And I really don't care when he plays. I really don't care if he doesn't play. I don't care if he doesn't actually hit the floor this season, or really for his entire career. Because the big man is already all NBA on the internet. Hasn't played a single minute and is already all NBA on the internet. You see, he's got the trait. The one trait that you cannot find in a lot of young players. He's not afraid to take the big shot. He's not afraid to take a big swing. He wants it. Some guys hope the ball is not hit to them in a big moment. He wants the ball hit to him. He wants the ball in his hands at the end of a big game. Right out of the gate, on Twitter, this guy takes a huge swing, like no risk, no reward. A big play for Kim Kardashian. He spits crazy game, and he asks her to slide into his DMs. Big swing now. And people quickly remind him, hey, yo, playa, she is married. Oh, I didn't know that. My bad. Anyway, what's poppin', Twitter? He could have stopped right there. He could have stopped with that shot alone, and to me, he's already on the association's Mount Tweetmore. But when she did not slide in, instead of jacking up another 20-footer, he actually steps back, way back. He moves to about 35 feet out. And he tweets the following. Now, again, we're talking about some kid who's never been in the NBA yet. Hey, baby, holla at me. Dinner at Giorgio's at 9:30 p.m. at Rihanna. It's incredible. Now you see why this guy was not afraid to recruit LeBron. Because he'll try to pick up on somebody even bigger than Braun. And then he'll give the people exactly what they want. Not long thereafter, he tweets an update. So the first tweet was, hey, baby, holla at me. Dinner at Giorgio's at 9:30 p.m. at Rihanna. Then he tweets, and I quote, sources, Rihanna is considering Joel Embiid's offer. Sources tell Joel Embiid that she's considering the offer. I mean, it's so funny. It's so good. It's awesome. And honestly, she should be. She should consider that offer. And if I were Kim, I would still take the offer, if it's even still on the table. Because in Joel's world, her 22 million followers, Kim's, her 22 mil make her like a nobody with an egg. Riri's got 36 mil. And if she slides into Embiid's DMs, she'll probably jump up to 40 or 50. Trust me, when Joel is showing up to the arena next year with Gaga on one arm, Katy Perry on the other, and over 100 million between them, Kardashian Inc. will understand that stiffing Joel Embiid was their worst move since marrying Chris Humphries. Who cares that he plays for the Sixers? Who cares when he plays for the Sixers? He's an all-day player on Twitter. This cat is so funny. There are a lot of people on Twitter who think they're funny. They're not. This guy really is. Let me tell you something. I've been on Twitter now 4 or 5 years. I do not take those who I follow lightly. I only follow 85. I'm not one of those people that can manage 200, 300, 400, 1,000, 1,500 followers. I'm not really sure how people do that. So everybody I follow for a reason. So if I add a follower, it's pretty big in my mind. So I added him. And I generally do not ditch who I follow. And I should have done it sooner. This guy's just spitting game. Kim K, Rihanna. I don't know that she has reacted yet or responded. And I know it doesn't matter. He'll keep coming. Love this guy. This guy knows the epitome. The first thing they teach you in sales school, he already knows it innately, because I know that Joel Embiid did not go to sales school. It's not how many no's, it's how many yeses. Nobody knows how many no's it takes to get to the big yes. It's not how many no's, it's how many yeses, and all it takes is one big yes. Nobody cares about the no's. You just need the one yes. It's the first thing they teach everybody in sales school. And even if you know it, it doesn't mean you can deal with it. Because if you keep getting punched in the face with no after no after no, some people just quit. This guy knows already. Remember that. It's not how many no's, it's how many yeses. And all it takes is one big yes. Blacktaculous tweets at Jim Rome. Thanks for introducing me to Joel Embiid. His Twitter account is so epic, it should have its own Twitter account. Hashtag straight fire. It's good. It's a really good Twitter feed. I love the kid. Hey, in fact, Joel, if you're listening right now, or if somebody close to him is listening, I need you on my Showtime show. Your Twitter feed reads like a 10 questions segment on Showtime with Jim Rome. In fact, playa, I may let you pick your segment on our show. You can do 10 questions. You can be on the forum. You can sit down for a little Q&A. You let me know. The producers might not approve, but I just made an executive decision. TH84 at Jim Rome. After hearing that from Chandler Parsons, maybe Ed Joel Embiid does have a chance with Kim Kardashian or Rihanna. Maybe. Now, you don't know unless you ask. Always be closing. ABC. Always be closing. First prize, Rihanna. Second prize, a set of steak knives. Third prize, you're fired. Always be closing. Joel knows that. Respect. Respect. Hey, Lyle.
Hey, Jim.
How's your Sixer coming?
On Wednesday.
This email says, whoa, whoa, whoa. X-rated Tinder? Are they looking for investors? Signed, Kareem.
The 5 movie ratings in the United States are NC-17, R, PG, PG-13, and this one. Kareem.
What is X?
No.
Easy. Imagine being on X-rated Tinder and you're swiping through the pictures. Nope, nope, nope. Kareem? What's he doing on X-rated Tinder? I'm an investor. No, you're not. All right, stay tuned. I'm going to wrap up hour number 2. And the reason I want to do that is so I can get to hour number 3, where we'll have Nick Young. And then Andrew McCutchen. And then more telephone calls. You're in the jungle. 20-plus years. I'm Jim Rome, and this is CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening.
So LeBron is back in Cleveland. Dwayne and Chris Bosh are still in South Beach. Speaking of Dwayne Wade's got to shoot the kids straight. All right? Today's kids are smart. They know what's going on. So he needs to shoot them straight. For instance, apparently one little kid at Dwayne Wade's camp during a Q&A hit him with a question that I don't think that the old guy really expected. And then the kid hit him with it again and again. And seemingly he would not answer.
No, one kid asked me, why did I flop? And I was about to get him kicked out of the camp. I thought about it, but I know that, his parents is up there probably. But, he said it like 3 times. I thought he was joking. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, why did you flop? So his dad put him up today. Spurs fan.
Wow. Doubt it. This kid asked me, why did I flop? And then he asked me 3 times. You know those little cracks? I was getting him kicked out of the camp. Another great athlete statement. His dad probably put him up to it. Spurs fan. All of that, Dwayne, or maybe he really wanted to know why you flop. We all want to know. It really is a fair question. You and LeBron both. You're world class, you're Hall of Famers. Multiple ring winners. Why do you guys flop? All that kid did was ask a question that we all want the answer to. Nobody had to put that kid up to that. He's not a Spurs fan. He's probably a basketball fan and wants to know why you're flopping. It's beneath you. It's undignified. I always love being in a situation with a celebrity or an athlete, and because they're a celebrity or an athlete, whatever they say must be uproariously funny. None of that was funny. He was brought out of the house. Awesome. You know what was funny? That you had no answer for the kid, and then he came back at you 2 more times. Now, that's the funny part. No, seriously, I want to know why you flopped. That kid's like, no, really? Oh, well, what are you going to do? You going to get me kicked out of this camp? I want to know, Dwayne, why do you flop? That's cute. Sonny, now move along. No, wait, why do you flop? Yeah, I heard you, son. That's funny. Now move along. Why do you flop? Nick Young. When we come back, this is CBS Sports Radio. We are flying right through it into our 3rd hour already. I am broadcasting live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts studio. I am Jim Rome. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Coming up, next segment, the reigning National League MVP, Andrew McCutchen. In the meantime, I'll take more telephone calls a little bit later on in the hour. 1-800-636-8686. If you want to tweet at us, get on Twitter, join Twitter, follow me at Jim Rome. Right now, I want to talk some Laker basketball. I am joined by a small forward for the Lakers. He signed a 4-year deal with the Lakers on Monday. He's coming off a career-high 18 points per game last season. He was a 2-time All-Pac-10 player at USC. He was the 16th player taken overall in the 07 draft by the Wizards. I'm joined by Laker Nick Young. Nick, really good to have you. How are you?
What's up, man? What's going on, Jim?
What's up, Nick? How you feeling?
I'm good. Relaxing.
All right, man, you're having a good week. You signed a new 4-year deal. You are going to be a Laker for a long time. Has it sunk in, and how does it feel?
Oh, man, it feels great. Man, it really starting to hit me that, I'm here. I'm home for a while, and, we got to get to work now,
Yeah, it's business. But when you opted out of that deal in June, were you looking around to see what was out there, or was the plan always to come back and be a Laker?
I didn't know what was going to happen, to tell you the truth, especially with Melo and LeBron, so I was weighing my options, but I always wanted to be home in L.A.,
Yep. Nick Young joining us. Hey, Nick, what about last season? It was a tough year for the Lakers. You had a career year averaging nearly 18 points per game. What was the year like for you, and how would you describe it?
It was a chance for me to, show myself, but overall, we was losing. And that was the frustrating part, but I know what it's like to be in LA. I know what the to wear that purple and gold. You got to go out there and perform, no matter what.
And Nick, you're an LA guy. You played your college ball here. You know this town. You know how much pride there is in the town and in that team. What was it like, though, to walk around town last year when the team is banged up and it's not having success?
Oh, man, you hear a lot of people ain't built for it, as you see, When they losing, the fans will get on you. But they was pretty cool with me for some reason, they like me.
Hey, Nick, what about that? Why do you think the fans identify with you? I mean, your point is they like you. I get that. What is it about you and your game that they identify with and connect with?
You know what, Jim? I'm a star. That's what it is, all right, man? Playing this, no, I'm just playing. But no, I just connect with the people, from LA. You got to stick by us when we losing, and I made that. I showed effort, and I fought really to the end. So hopefully they've seen that part.
And Nick, I love that. They like me because I'm a star. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, man, you're being funny, half funny but half not. That's part of that Swaggy P lifestyle. Take me through it, man. What's it mean to be Swaggy P? And talk about the lifestyle.
Oh, hey, if you look good, you play good, and that's my, it's a little bit of Hollywood coming from LA. And I just have fun with it, and just ride it out.
Hey, man, look good, feel good, play good, get paid good. And, Nick, this is L.A. It's a star town, right?
Yeah, and I'm like the new prime time, baby. I'm a star. It's showtime, it's swag time, and, you got to come out and watch us do our thing this year,
Nick, was that the way it always was growing up? I mean, did you know you were going to be a star? Who are the kind of guys that you identified with growing up? Like, when you looked at somebody else and you saw a star, who did you see, for instance?
Oh, man, I'll say Deion Sanders back in the day. And that's the funny thing is, like, Jordan Farmar and all my teammates just saying I was trying to be like Deion. And I didn't really even notice it. And I looked at his videos on YouTube. I seen his song, Must Be the Money. I was like, oh, man, no wonder they keep saying this.
Nick Young joining us. It must be the money. Now, we're talking about a team next year, Nick. You got some new faces. You've got Jeremy Lin. You've got Carlos Boozer, Julius Randle. Kobe's coming back. How do you think this team is going to do next year?
I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to surprise a couple people. Coming into the league each year, it's always a team that surprises people, like Phoenix. Everybody counted them out, and, they had a great year, even though they didn't make the playoffs because the West is so deep. But, it's always going to be a team that surprises somebody, so it's the NBA.
And Nick, it would be nice if you had head coach. Are you at all concerned about not having one yet?
It's crazy, it's really crazy, but, I trust that they're going to do something to find the right fit. They got to find the right fit that fits with the team right now.
What do you think? What kind of coach would you like to see come in? Who in your mind would be a good fit?
I'm not sure. I'm still shocked. I don't want to, I can't make no decisions. I'm just going to come in and play my role and do my thing.
That's out of your control. I get it. It's not your job. Yeah, as somebody who grew up in this town, I mean, you're playing for the Lakers and you got a 4-year deal and you're getting paid right now. What's that mean to you to come back home and get that kind of commitment from the hometown team?
Oh, man, that's love. I have to come back. My mom said, you have to come back home and get some hometown loving. It's been a blessing, to play for my hometown and to get a contract here and to go out there and represent for my city, really.
It's an amazing thing because you're killing it on the court, but you're crossing over into the pop culture world, thanks in part to your relationship with Iggy Azalea. Nick, what's it like? I mean, do you like the attention from TMZ? Is it fun, or does it get on your nerves, and is it a distraction?
It could be a distraction sometimes, but, if you act crazy, they're going to keep coming at you, and so I try to, have fun with them sometimes, and they leave me alone, and, But coming to L.A., like I've been saying, Jim, I'm a star, and I've been a star for a long time. Y'all just didn't see it. I remember back in the day with me and you, when you came to SC, and was hanging out with me and Gabe,
And by the way, I can tell you something, Nick. I remember that. I remember when we shot that, and you were a star even back then. Is it about basketball game? Is that where the star quality comes from, or do you think like your personality and your it transcends the game? You know what I mean? Are you a star because of the game, or is it bigger than the game?
It's kind of bigger than the game for me, you know. I think people like, just the whole little Swaggy P movement and, my little antics when I make a three or something, I'm trying to bring Showtime back, I'm trying to, they need a little bit. The Lakers for the past, couple of years been a little, just a little, they ain't been Showtime, so that's what I'm here for.
Hey, listen, it's a star town like we talked about, and the town demands stars, and we're having fun with this, Nick, but the fact is, you've overcome quite a bit to get where you are. Yeah. Is there a feeling like, can you talk about the journey, and do you feel like you've made it? And what's this contract represent in that regard?
Oh, man, yeah, like you just said, I put in a lot of hard work. I've been getting, a lot of, just one-year deals, and not the respect factor, and that's what I was trying to show this year. I was trying to gain just the respect factor, and I got more to do, but it's a great start, really.
Nick, it's one thing to get the respect of people around the league and grind through the one-year contracts and you get the multi-year contract, but even coming up, as you were young and growing up in Southern California, was it a challenging time?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, especially with the neighborhood I came from, it wasn't the best, environment, but, I overcome it. And I'm an LA kid. I still go back. I still, show my face and help out, but I remember them times when I didn't think I was going to be here, really.
Nick, what about your coach at Cleveland High School? He played a significant role in your life. Who was he, and how important was he in helping you get to where you are right now?
Oh, major, At the times when I used to tell my mom to let me stay home, I don't feel like going to school and practice here, call the house, come get me. And to this day, he's still talking. He actually, me and him, we run my basketball camp clinic for kids. So he's in charge of that. He still plays a major role, in what I got going.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. There's a SoCal legend about when you were a teenager, you throwing down and dunking on Cedric Ceballos. Is it true, Nick? What happened that day?
They used to let me on the court because I used to play around a lot. But I was trying to tell them I ain't little no more, I'm grown. This is grown Nick, And then they still thought I was that kid. He went up. I went up. I just got a little higher than him. He was, he was on the end part of his years. And I was on the up and coming. And I told him, don't jump. And now, that's my court now,
Like, Nick, when that went down, how old were you?
I was like, I'd say 15 or 16, like 16, 15,
All right, so what it said, when you said to him, hey, look, man, I'm not little Nick anymore, I'm big Nick, look out, and you threw down on him, what did Ced say after you threw down like that?
He said, you know what, you always had potential, to be who you are, and you just never took it. You didn't think you were serious about it, but now you see you're serious, and, just keep working. Ever since then, he's been trying to work with me here and there, and talk to me still, so... I remember Ced was that guy in my neighborhood. That's the only person that really made it out. So that was big for me to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and somebody else did too. Nick Young, you made it out. You're a star now, Nick. You feel like is it your time, and could this be your town?
Oh, most definitely. I believe, it's time. I'm going to keep working, and can't slack up now, Can't do it, so I'm just stay in the gym.
All eyes on Swaggy P. Nick, good to have you back. We're glad we came together. Nice to have you on the show. We'll do it again soon.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, Jim. It's always good talking to you, man.
You know how we do, Nick. You know how we do. Good talking to you, Nick. Thank you very much. You are a star. This town needs stars. This is a star-driven town. I like that. I love a guy who says, I am a star. Give it to me, man. Put it on my shoulders. I want it. All eyes on me. Give me the rock. I am a star. I've always been a star. I like it. This town needs stars. This town needs stars, and they need players. Oh, and a coach. A coach would be good, too. Your thoughts on Nick Young? Reaction. He's right. He's got a good memory. When I was with ESPN, we did a correspondent piece, and we went back to USC, and we're like, damn, this kid is unbelievable. I mean, even as a kid at USC, he had, quote, star quality. All right, my thanks to Swaggy P, Andrew McCutchen, reigning NL MVP, coming up next. Stay tuned. Eventually, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it is going to happen. You will turn the key. Your engine will not start. When your battery loses its power, you lose your ability to get out, get around, and get things done. Think of how many things you got to get done on any given day. What if all of a sudden you've got a dead battery? Sucks. When it's time to replace your battery, trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to help you choose the Superstar battery that is an exact fit for your car. Whether it's a reliable economy, hard-working premium, or a powerful extreme, O'Reilly Auto Parts has the Superstar battery that you need at a guaranteed low price. Do not let a dead battery slow you down. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts and get a reliable, hard-working Superstar battery that you can count on. I'm telling you, it's summertime. That battery is wearing down. Don't wait. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. That's O'Reilly Auto Parts. All right, some of you don't get that. Some of you don't get that whole star thing. I like it. I like it if you can back it up. And you're coming from a good place with it. Man, Nick Young, he's happy. He's having fun. He had a much, much tougher upbringing than he acknowledged. And if you understand where he came from and where he is right now, and you appreciate the attitude and the work he's put in, the talent he has, I think you might see it differently. For instance, and we didn't get into this, when he was young, his brother was killed by a member of the Bloods gang in a case of mistaken identity. I mean, imagine losing your brother. Imagine your brother being shot at an early age. I mean, he mentioned it. I grew up in a very, very tough neighborhood. Very tough neighborhood. You know, imagine your brother getting shot and it was a case of mistaken identity. You know, I'm talking about things like that. Had a high school basketball coach, took a liking to him. The guy was able to grind through it, fight his way out of the neighborhood. He said Cedric Ceballos was the only other guy who made it out of the neighborhood. He went to USC, had a good college career, bounced around the NBA a little bit, and finally makes it back home. Gets a multi-year deal. And the guy thinks he's a star, knows he's a star. Also understand this, that might not play where you are, and I'm not sure where you are right now, but this is a star-driven town. It's not only enough to win in a town like this, you have to win a certain way. You've got to have a certain flair. And basketball fans here are used to Showtime. I have absolutely no issue with it if you can back it up. I mean, Nick, man, he's a funny dude. This is the same guy who styled a three-point shot that didn't go down last year. It was hilarious. He rubs me the right way. I have no issue with it. So where do you come out on that? Do you like hearing that? Do you like a guy saying, man, I'm a star? Swaggy P, man. I am Swaggy P. And when I said to him, what do you think about TMZ? He's like, yeah, it could be a distraction. I love the answer. He said, it could be a distraction if you let it, but I'm a star. Like, I know why they're coming to me. I'm a star. Guy's got swag. Does not offend me at all. In fact, I wish more guys were like that. You know how much better my life and my show would be if there were, quote, more stars who wanted to come on and tell me they were stars? I'm Team Swaggy P. I like it. Where do you come out? 1-800-636-8686. In a world of vanilla, in a world where people will not speak their mind, in a world where people just spit cliche after cliche after cliche, I like it. What would you rather have? What would you rather have, that or a series of it is what it is? I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. It's going to be interesting. We'll see. At the end of the day, me, I'd much rather have I'm a star. Look at me. As long as you can back it up. And we're talking about a guy who's coming off a year where he averaged 18 points per game and just signed a 4-year deal with the hometown Lakers. Nick Young. I am Team Swaggy P. Good job, Nick. I got you. I'm in the midst of securing a conversation with the reigning NL MVP, and here he is. Pittsburgh Pirates center fielder, 2013 NL MVP. He is a 4-time All-Star. He is a 2-time Silver Slugger. He has won a Gold Glove and having another huge year. 319, 17 home runs, 62 runs batted in, and the Pirates come out quickly out of the All-Star break. Andrew McCutchen joins us. Andrew, it's great to have you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good, man. How are things? How you living?
Pretty good. You know, quite a few things have happened since last time I was on your show. So, It's been a lot of fun, though.
No, you've been keeping busy. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's talk about where the team is. You come out of the break, and you've won 4 out of 5. Look, I know nobody's going to panic, and you're in the hunt right there in the NL Central, but how critical was it for you guys to get out as quickly as you have to start the second half?
Every game's important. We learned that last year playing and, making it to the wild card game against the Reds. So we know that every single game we play is really important. So, it's not about putting the pressure on yourself. It's just going out and just trying to win ball games. It's good that we have done what we've done in the second half. This is a very tough division. It's not the toughest division in baseball, and just going out and doing what we know, doing what we do best, and that's going out pitching well and winning ball games.
Yeah, it is a competitive division. You mentioned the wild card game last year. The Pirates have been in the hunt in the second half for a number of years now, but does it feel a little bit different this year after you broke through last season? In other words, since you've been there before, do you feel like you know a little more about what it's like to be there and what it takes to get it done?
Oh yeah, definitely, and I think that's the good part about our team is knowing that. We can get there, and we have the team to get there, and, we're not hitting that panic button. If we do lose 1 or 2 or in a row or 3, it doesn't matter. We know what we're capable of doing. And at the same time, I feel like we're not even hot yet. We're doing okay. We're winning ball games. We're pitching well. We're getting the job done. But things really haven't clicked for us, and for us to be where we are now is really good.
Yeah, so what about it? I mean, things haven't clicked yet. The team got up to kind of a slow start this year, but you're playing much better right now. What's the difference in the way you're playing now as compared to earlier this season when it really wasn't clicking?
You know what? I have to say what's most important for our team is definitely our pitching. Our pitching is big for us. That's what wins the ball games. Our starting pitching, our bullpen, they keep us in the ball game. And in the beginning of the season, we're kind of up and down with that. But we've had our starters have gone out and they pitched great, going 6, 7, and almost complete games, and keeping us in the ball games. And our bullpen does what they do, and that's just go out and they shut it out for us. So, if they're consistent with that, our offense, it definitely will click and it'll be there. But when our pitching is on, we're always on.
National League MVP Andrew McCutchen joining us. You mentioned that a lot has changed since you and I last spoke. I look at this. You win the NL MVP last year, and that's something that will stay with you forever. You will always be known as an MVP. It's an amazing honor. So how much have things changed for you since you won that award?
A whole lot. Not a whole lot has changed. I mean, the recognition, of course, that happens with it. Being voted on by the fans to the All-Star game to start, that was the first for me as well. So, getting that recognition is, it's really cool. But, for the most part, it's just being around Pittsburgh, man, and all the people just being, just so in tune to what, we're doing as a team, always wanted to talk to me about how excited they are to just see us, just perform on a daily basis. It's really awesome just to be able to hear that everywhere I go, and just the support of the fans here is amazing.
Statistically, you're on pace to do even better this year than you did last year. Statistically, do you feel like you've taken your game to another level?
I definitely do. I feel like I'm doing, I feel stronger than I did last year, and I feel like I'm just turning into a more consistent player, consistent hitter, and I feel really good right now where I'm at. I say I feel good, but I probably make some people mad, but I don't even feel like I'm hot yet, and I feel like it's definitely going to come, and it's going to come at the right time. So we're going to get going, and things will start picking up here.
Like you said, you feel like you're going to still play better, that you're going to get hot. You talk about the team hasn't really clicked fully. I mean, as a team and as a player, can you peak at the right time? I mean, can you will it that way? Can you set it up that way so you are playing your best at the right time?
You know what? I'm not too sure. I don't think I can do that. I think I just go out and perform. And this time of the year in the summer, it's hot. I'm from Florida, so I'm used to all the heat. So when things heat up, I feel like I kind of start to heat up a little bit. And around this time, you just feel like you're really in that baseball just form to where things start to really click for you. You don't really have to think about much. Just go out and play the game. And when I do that, good things happen.
It makes sense. Before you go, you've had a really interesting week. Let me ask you about this. On Monday during BP, you met a woman who is probably your oldest fan. Who is she, and how did you find out about her?
Oh, man, it was awesome. Regine Green. That was her name, 100 years old, and found out in a newspaper clipping that someone sent to me that, she said that some of their interests with the Pittsburgh Pirates and Andrew McCutchen, and so I had to somehow get her down to the field. So I made a video for her birthday, and then we got her out to the ballpark, and she was such a nice lady, and was able to talk to her for a little bit. But it's always great to meet a fan, young or old.
Yeah, that is so amazing. And then you've got a young fan. The very next day, you hosted a 12-year-old boy named Andrew who is battling a cancerous germ cell tumor. What was it like spending time with him?
Yeah, you know what? He was awesome. Just hanging out with him and just getting to meet him was great. You know, he's battling something that a lot of people, even myself, we don't know about, and we can't understand. But he's a trooper, man. We came out and he just felt like another one of the teammates. Nothing overwhelmed him, and he was a well-spoken young man, and I really enjoyed just being a part of his journey, and I look forward to seeing him when he's in Colorado.
Andrew McCutchen joining us. One last thought. The team has got a rotation when it comes to the music choice in the clubhouse. I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but can you break that down? What's the rotation day by day during the week for the clubhouse, music-wise?
Oh, man, there's some of everything Wednesday, but today is Wednesday, so I believe that's
I think it's country. I think it's country, right?
You're right. It's country. It's Wednesday. It's country. So yeah, we have basically every genre that you can think of for the 7 days. So I always say I like salsa, so that's what I'm all about.
Andrew, I don't want to be this guy, but look, is Wednesday not the worst day if Wednesday's country?
Well, I was raised in the Boondocks, so I don't mind it. But after a while, I definitely have to change it up for myself. So I'll throw some music on my phone and get myself going, because that country can make it get a little laid back.
Yeah, right. So what's Thursday?
Thug Thursday.
Thug Thursday. All right, that's got to be better, right?
Yeah. Thug Thursday, any kind of hip hop, I guess. But that's another one of the days. But tomorrow's an off day, so yeah, I won't be listening to that.
Hey, well, okay, one last thought. I thought of something before you go. Back in the day, Orlando Hudson, the O-Dog used to come on. Man, he was great. But we got into it because he used to be a huge fan of the Lifetime Network, and he was all over me because I got on him for it. But you're a self-admitted fan of Devious Maids, right?
That's right.
Okay, tell me about that show. I've never seen it. What's it all about?
Oh man, it's one of those shows that the name of it may get to you, and you go, hey, I would never watch that, and I was watching it with my lovely fiance one day, and next thing you know, I start to kind of get locked into it, and it's basically just a bunch of maids just basically find themselves in the middle of every situation. So it's a pretty interesting show, and I really nothing that I can really say about it. But I'm telling you, if you watched it a few times, you'll get locked in.
It doesn't sound that bad to me at all. Devious Maids. I'm kind of into that. I'll check that out. Andrew McCutchen, reigning NL MVP. Man, we covered it all. It's good to have you back. Thanks for making time for it. It's always good to talk to you, Andrew.
All right, appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Isn't that awesome? In his week, he had a 100-year-old fan that he found out about and said, we've got to bring her to the ballpark and hang out. The very next day, as part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, he met a 12-year-old boy who's battling a cancerous germ cell tumor and said he's great. I love what he said, too, that nothing overwhelms him. He was a part of the team. And you're one of those transcendent figures in a city where 12-year-olds want to hang out with you, 100-year-olds want to hang out with you. You're an MVP. Getting better, and you watch Devious Maids. The O-Dog was the best. Remember Orlando Hudson when he called me out once? Like, what do you watch, Jim Rome? Quote, I don't appreciate that, Rome. What do you watch? Friends? Home Improvement?
You know what, Jim? I didn't appreciate you, man. I love your show, but I appreciate you getting on me about my Lifetime, man. I watch Lifetime. I might sit home on my off day. I like to watch Lifetime, But, ain't nothing wrong with watching Lifetime. I want to know what Jim Rome like to do. I want to ask you personally what you like to do on your off time and see what you like to watch. Friends, Home Improvement, or something like that. That's the same thing. So, we both in the same boat.
My man, even if I did, it's not the same thing, and I don't. I miss the O-Dog. Orlando Hudson. That was 2007. I didn't appreciate that, man. What do you do in your off time, Rome? You watch Friends? Home Improvement? No. And no. And even if I did, it would not be the same thing. the O-Dog came on again, and we talked about it some more.
Well, you know what, man, Lifetime, my mom, when I was young, man, my mom used to watch it a lot when I was young, and sometimes I just sit there when I come from outside or whatever, come and wash my hands, get ready for lunch or get ready for dinner. I just sit there and watch the TV, and then before you know it, man, there I am now, 29 years later. I'm still watching Lifetime. It's one of my favorite shows. My dad would be like, man, you should be watching that show. That kind of show there for your mom and your grandma and your auntie now. You know, been watching no Lifetime. But my dad and my brother get me about watching Lifetime all the time. But you know what? I don't watch it for so long, though. I can't get out of it.
God, that's great. I miss guys like that. What a rap. What a rap. I started to say, all right, if that's how you connect with your mother and you and your mom would hang out and watch Lifetime, that's one thing. But then even he himself jumped in with, yeah, my dad would be all over me. My brother would be all over me. You're all over me all over me, Rome. He goes, the problem is I've done it for so long, I can't stop now. It's like athletes watching soap operas. I remember back in the day, athletes would get addicted to the soaps. And they knew they were watching crap. No offense, Lyle. They knew they were watching crap, but that's what they did. They had a lot of time to themselves during the day. They'd be in the hotel room, and they're soap operas. That's the whole point. You get addicted to the storylines and the plots. So the O-Dog was telling me, I've been doing it for so long, I can't stop. And now you've got another superstar in Pittsburgh, Andrew McCutchen, saying, yeah, I watch Devious Maids. You notice he said, I started to watch it with a fiance. That's kind of the code for, do you like it or is she making you watch it? I don't know. I've never seen the show. He sounded pretty enthusiastic. Man, that's a good dude, Andrew McCutchen. Pittsburgh, you got to be very, already, very lucky to have a guy like that. All right, we'll come back. And when we do, we're wide open. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we're talking some basketball. The Lady Bookers are just killing it. It's not easy to book a show like this in the middle of summer, and they're doing their thing. Rich Cho, Hornets GM, and Ray McCallum, the Sacramento Kings, both already booked for tomorrow. Stay tuned. You are listening to CBS Sports Radio. This segment's brought to you by Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com for a free home loan review. That number again is 800-QUICKEN, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, and MLS number 3030. I mean, an obvious juxtaposition. Andrew McCutchen following Nick Young. Different guys, different raps, different approaches. And some of you didn't like that whole I'm a star thing. Like this. Jimmy. Holy freaking humble Andrew McCutchen. Superstar, no self-glossing. No, I'm bigger than my team or town. Proven superstar status, just a humble guy that's pumped to be where he is. Thank you for the interview. Good recovery from that other cat, Tony in Lodi. Tony, there was no recovery necessary. We didn't have to recover from anything, in my opinion. There was no bounce back necessary. I sat in the chair. I did both interviews. I like both those guys a lot for different reasons. I respect them both for different reasons. They're different guys. Different strokes, man. As I said, this show and this world, in my opinion, would be a lot better if there were more guys who embraced it. Put it on me. I'm a star. I'm a star, baby. All day long. Look at me. Give me the ball. Give me the pressure. Give me the responsibility. I'm not shying away from any of it. I want to be that guy. Do not confuse I'm a star with somebody who's putting themselves ahead of the team or ahead of the town. That's not necessarily true. It doesn't mean the guy's selfish. I'm telling you, I would much rather talk to a guy who's reminding me throughout the interview that he's a star than a guy reminding me throughout the interview that it is what it is, Jim. At the end of the day, Jim, it is what it is, and it's going to be interesting. Well, it is what it is. I remember that whole it is what it is thing. I remember when that started. I remember the first time I heard somebody say that. And full disclosure, the first time I heard that phrase, it is what it is, I actually liked it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. It is what it is. But then it became a convenient crutch for everybody who does an interview in any walk of life. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, what the hell is it? Oh, I guess it depends on what your definition of is. Right, William? I like both these guys. A lot of you did not like Nick Young. Guys got star value. He said, yeah, I got it from Dion. A lot of guys don't like Dion. At least Nick Young never had a charter school close. And by the way, I feel badly for those kids. It's about the kids, right? No, it's about the money. I forgot. It's about the kids. Put them in the school and then I get fired. It's about the kids. That's why I have this charter school. It's about that hot dog maker that never went.
Sanders Hot Dog Express is perfect for anybody who wants to have delicious, tasty hot dogs.
Hey, man, don't kid yourself now. A generation of young athletes looked up to Prime because he was a star. All right, Alvin, short timeout, right? I'll come back and wrap things up with a tweet or two and a huge call. If I'm not mistaken, we had a few calls and a few people got run. One even ejected. Stay tuned. Ivo 316 at Jim Rome. War Sterling being a player coach next year and getting clotheslined in the paint. Remember Sterling used to ride Baron Davis? Like rode him unmercifully to the point where Davis just was in a bad spot? He rode his own player. He heckled his own player. He heckled his own player to the point where it got under his skin and in his head. Gene Rayburn's mic is back in. Gene Rayburn's mic tweets at Jim Rome. Tony Dungy is backpedaling so fast that he could beat Lance Armstrong with both hands tied behind his blank. Yeah, I love this guy's brand. It's the best handle I've seen since 45 got fat. And the fact that he puts his tweet in the form of the show is awesome. Great play. I picked Van Smack. Tony Dungy is backpedaling so fast that he could beat Lance Armstrong with both hands tied behind his back. Good answer. Blazing KC. I have an 80-year-old fan. Got it at a garage sale. Once I get my electric back, it'll be sweet. Yours, T.O. It's an F, Blaze. It's not funny. Brendan Potter at Jim Rome. Dwayne, you're a future Hall of Famer. Why do you flop? Is it your lackluster defense? Signed, Bobby Ramos Jr.
Bobby Ramos, bottom line.
Dan Louisville at Jim Rome. Why do you mop? Signed, a kid at T.O. camp. It's ridiculous. Why do you mop? It's ridiculous. T.O. doesn't have a camp. Robin Buffalo at Jim Rome. They call Nick Young Swaggy P. Well, they call me Saggy P. Heftily yours, Phil Milk Shakelson. Heftily yours, Phil Milk Shakelson. That's not funny either, Rob. I know you're proud of it, Rob, but you shouldn't be. Today's huge call brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. You should turn your favorite 5 Hour Energy concoction into a share of $100,000. If you want to find out how you can do that, go to 5houryummification.com. 5houryummification.com. My thanks to Swaggy P, Chandler Parsons, Andrew McCutchen. Tomorrow we have Ray McCallum from the Sacramento Kings, Rich Cho, Hornets GM. Kyle Brandt, Dave Whelan, and Alvin DeLauro make up the XR4TI. Thank you so much for listening. I've got a tweeted segment on Rome on CBS Sports Network. So start firing me tweets right now at Jim Rome, and I'll read them on the air on our TV show later today. See you over there. We are done.